Hey guys, what's up? It's Doubtfull, and today I'm going to be showing you how to play Rek'sai. This is going to be a beginner's guide, and I'm going to go over just 3 things, and that's going to be what runes to take, how you should clear, and which paths are good this season, Season 10. Now, just for some context, so you know who I am, a little bit about me, I used to be a Rek'sai one-trick for like 2 years. I play other champions now, but I'm still a big-time Rek'sai enthusiast, and she's by far my most played champion. I'm also a high elo NA solo queue player for, whatever that's worth. So that's enough about me. Since we're already here, I'm going to get into the runes here and show you guys what runes you should be taking in Season 10. Now, you really have 2 options, and I'm going to go over both. I really think you should only pick one or the other because I find it really confusing to go back and forth between the 2. Like, I end up miscalculating my damage and what I can do a lot of times. So I recommend picking one and sticking with it. But I will try to tell you the strengths and disadvantages of both. So this is Conqueror, the Conqueror page. This is the main one that I take and what I think most people should be taking, especially in the lower brackets. I take it in Challenger too. I still think it's the best rune to take in Challenger, but I also think it's even better in lower brackets when people play tankier champions and the early game's less important. But so you take Conquer, Triumph. You can take either Legend Alacrity or Legend Tenacity. If you're not sure which to take, basically take Tenacity if they have CC. If not, take Alacrity. That's really all it is. It's a little more complicated than that, but I'm not going to get into it for this video. And then then you also take Coup de Grace. You could take Last Stand, but probably best to just stick with Coup de Grace. Now we're going to go over to the sorcery page here, Nimbus Cloak and Water Walking. There are a few other options, but I think these are the best, and stats seem to show that as well. So that's what I recommend for people. Down here, attack speed, adaptive force, and armor. You can take MR if you're against an AP jungler. You probably should, especially if you're against like an AP mid and an AP jungler, so you have a stronger 2v2. You probably want to take MR there. But I mean, that's pretty much it for the rune page. It's not too complicated. The other option is Hail of Blade. Now, a lot of people like this. I think this one might actually be more popular. I didn't look up the stats before I did this, my bad. But Hail of Blades, most people take Cheap Shot. You can also take Sudden Impacts, but I would recommend Cheap Shot. You can kind of pick your choice down here. I would highly recommend you just take Eyeball Collector though, especially if you're in the lower brackets and you're not super great with using your sweeper. And then Relentless Hunter is pretty standard down here. And then you still want to take Nimbus Cloak and Water Walking. These are super broken right now. And then these are obviously the same: attack speed, AD, and then armor or MR, depending on the matchup you're in. So that's it for the runes. All right, let's go ahead and get started on how to clear. Just kidding, I just realized I forgot to actually tell you which runes were good in which situations. So generally speaking, Conqueror is better into tanks because your fights are going to be longer. You'll get more value out of the sustain and the added AD. And then again, really generally speaking, Hail of Blades is going to be better into squishier champions who you're probably going to have quick, short trades with. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking like Kindred or maybe like Kha'Zix or something. I don't know. Again, I always tank Conquer. I find it very difficult to switch back and forth between both runes. But yeah, that's just me. Okay, now we're ready to get started on how to clear with Rek'sai. Okay, so before I can show you how to do Rek'sai's clear, it is important that you understand how the mechanics of her W work. Okay, and that's her burrow unburrow ability for the uninitiated. So how they work is basically your W is going to knock up whoever you're closest to if you just press W. So I was closest to this wolf, so it knocks up this wolf. Now, if I wanted to knock up a specific wolf, notice how I'm probably closest to the smaller one over here. Wow, this is kind of hard. Okay, if I click on this big one, then I knock up the big one instead. And I'm gonna put on auto refresh HP so I don't kill myself doing this. We'll just go over here. Now, so that's how that portion works. Now, another really important thing to note is that notice how if I was to knock up this big wolf here, I deal damage to all 3 camps, okay? Now, if I was to burrow again and then knock up a small wolf, I only did damage to the 2 that I knocked up. Now, this circle going around here is actually a timer, and I can't knock up the small wolf again until that timer runs out, okay? And if you can't knock up a camp, then your W does not deal damage to them. So in the future here, when I show you this clear, on the wolves, or really this comes up with Krugs, Raptors, and wolves, anything with multiple camps. But I'm going to point out specifically that you're supposed to knock up these small ones first, and you want to knock up this big one last. Okay, so that's kind of important to get a somewhat optimal clear, to be as healthy and quick as possible. So yeah, now on to the clear. Alright guys, now I'm going to be showing you how to do the Rek'sai clear, and were you wondering why there was a shine in the last clip? Me too. Alright, going on, we're going to start on the red buff here, and we're going to level up our Q level 1, okay? So you just auto, then reset with your Q, and slowly kite back, trying to take as few autos as possible. Now, you might want to look up a video on how to kite camps if you're not sure how to do this. Really, I think if you just practice, you'll get it down. I'm not the best example of it, but we're just going to kite back to this Krug camp, and we're going to go underneath it so our Q hits both of them, and then make sure we knock up the small one first. And we're going to kite over and do this, and then make sure we knock up the big one here, and smite it, and start autoing these. Use our Q knock up here, and auto this, so our Q will AoE hit all of these, and our W finishes them off. And then we're going to continue on our way up to Krugs. And we can go ahead and pop a pot here if we want. Now we're going to go up, and we want to make sure our Q and our knockup hit all of these little guys. So we'll sort of go right in the middle there and just start kiting back, autoing different ones so we get our red buff ticking on all of them. And there we go. Now we're just going to kill this big one last because it does the least amount of damage, which doesn't really make sense, but it's fine. Go ahead and burrow over here, set up a tunnel for future use. And then we'll get over to wolves here, and we're gonna knock up this one on the right or whatever there first. Start kiting around. Now we wanna go over to the side to make sure we knock up that small one. I think our AoE kills this one eventually at the end. You can go ahead and pop our last pot, I guess. And we'll start kiting towards blue to save a little bit of time. Use our E there. And if you do this right, you can actually weave in Qs without blue being able to retaliate. I'm not doing the best at it right here, but that's okay. All right, we'll go over here, Q, knock up. And you can't really kite this Gromp very well that I know of, but we'll just sort of slowly kite him back towards Scuttle Crab, where we're going inevitably after this, and use our smite. And there you go. We ended at 535 HP, which is pretty good. We'll be a little bit higher after we get the heal from our Fury. Yeah, we're almost full HP. If we took this Scuttle Crab, we would be full HP. If you want to, you could skip Gromp and just go straight for Scuttle Crab so you can kind of get there right when it spawns. And you should be more than healthy enough to contest it against any jungler. But yep, that is how to do Rek'sai's clear pretty healthy. And again, that was without a leash. In a real game, you would have a leash, so you'd probably be able to do it even healthier. So yep, that's it for the clear. And now I'm going to show you how to path on Rek'sai. Okay guys, now we are here in Microsoft Paint, and I'm going to be showing you basically what clear I take every single game on in Rek'sai in Season 10. Now, there's really two paths you could take. I'll tell you the other one first. I don't really particularly like it. Basically, you start your red, and then you go to blue, and then you go to Gromp. Now, this is the fastest way to hit level 3 known to mankind in the jungle. So what this does is it helps you get a level 3 really quickly, so you can look for a gank either top side or mid here, or if you started on this side, ignore that. Or if you started on this side, it allows you to gank mid or bot. It depends on what side of the map you're on. But we don't do any of that nonsense because I find it to be kind of inconsistent. And the main thing that you want, this is a topic for another video, but the main thing you want in the jungle is consistency, okay? You want to always put yourself in a position where you have the highest chance to succeed. And so I think that the best way to do that here in Season 10 on Reksai specifically is to always start your red buff, then do your Krugs, and then do your Raptors. Now, this is the best way to get XP and gold. It's the best path for that. But another thing that I really like about this path, more importantly than that, is with the first path that I showed you, you're only able to gank two sides of the map. You can't like do red, blue, Gromp, and then gank bottom. That would be really weird and inefficient. But with this path, I can go red, Krugs, Raptors, and then if I have like a really good lane, like an easy lane to gank over here, I could wrap around here, and this gank will pretty much always work as long as your bot has a good follow-up. It's really champion dependent, but generally speaking, this gank works like a lot. Okay, so if I take this path, I can do that, or if mid's gankable, I can gank mid, or if top's really gankable, it doesn't really cost me much to walk through here and gank top. So I have 3 different options here to take, and that's really what makes this path so powerful. It makes it very hard for you just have so many options. I don't know, it's so many options. It's the most consistent. I know Riot tried to with the jungle changes, they tried to open up a lot of different paths in the jungle, but really I think this one's optimal and should honestly be done every game. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up the pathing. That is the path you should take on Rek'sai in Season 10. With that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful at all, please consider giving me a like. It helps me out a lot. I do post content like this all the time, so maybe consider subscribing. And I also stream on Twitch, and I'm told I'm pretty educational and didactic. I didn't know what that word meant either. I had to look it up. But yeah, check me out. Links in the description below. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.